All right, here we go, man. Let me plug the joint. Why sexy is a better compliment than beautiful. Again, why sexy is a better compliment than beautiful. Let me just say this real quick. This is a Patreon request. So for the young man that hit me up via the email, he's on my Patreon, and he did let me know, hey, I have a video request. I have a free one, based on the tier that he's on, right? And he's cashing in on that. So for those of you on the Patreon and also on the channel membership, based on the monthly amount you're paying, if you are on a particular tier where one of your perks is a video request, hit me up at thereturnofmanhood@gmail.com. Again, thereturnofmanhood@gmail.com. Let me know whether you're coming from the Patreon side of the world or the channel membership. Tell me what tier you're on, and I got you. I'll take care of you. It might not be the same day. It might not be the same week, but I'll get to your request. I promise you. Again, let me plug the joint. Why sexy is a better compliment than beautiful. Let me just say this about compliments. Guys, if you're going to give a woman a compliment, whether you're complimenting her choice of fashion or her fashion sense, you're complimenting the fact that she got some nice juicy lips, or whatever type of compliment you're going to give a woman, never, ever give a compliment with the expectation that is going to yield a favorable result. Let me say that shit again. You never give a compliment to a woman with the expectation that is going to yield a favorable result. Okay, what do I mean? Right? There have been videos out there, viral videos, where guys are in public and they're giving a woman a compliment, and because the woman is not responding in the way that the man likes, he loses his shit and he starts talking shit, right? There's also certain YouTubers who have made videos over the last few years. When I say few, I'm talking about 3 or 4 years, where they tell you guys, don't compliment women, don't validate women. And the reason why they make these videos is because they are the type of guy that have complimented women in the past, and they didn't get the result that they desired, so they feel some type of way, right? So if you're going to compliment a woman, do so because that's just part of your vernacular to use certain words, right? It's just part of how you convey your desire for a woman, right? It's part of your unique charm, right? It's just it happens to be how you flirt with chicks. Do so because of that. Don't do so expecting a goddamn thing, right? Why sexy is a better compliment than beautiful. Let me read this comment from the gentleman who requested this video. Again, he's on the Patreon side, so get on that Patreon. Right, here we go. So he says, let me just say this, guys. When y'all leave comments, y'all send me emails, please proofread what you send me, right? So that way I can read it. Because what happens is I end up trying to edit it while I'm reading it, right? Because there's flaws with how you write your shit out, right? Somehow my belief is the woman may be viewing me as that is, she is not sexually interested in me based on what I say and my behaviors on the first date. Or she will say things like, slow down. How do I reverse that besides being sexual? And what tips do you have? What should you say on the first date if you only want to get her back to your place that night or the second date? Well, you asked a few questions in one. Let me just start with this. Let's go to where he says, or she would say things like, slow down, right? I tell you guys all the time, everything is about timing. A lot of times you guys, you say certain things to women and your timing is off, okay? Let me get back on the screen real quick. Let me get back on the screen. I want you guys to see me when I say this. Guys, if you meet a woman who is genuinely attracted to you, meaning she isn't trying to manipulate you. She isn't really trying to deceive you. She isn't trying to play you. She is actually genuinely attracted to you and genuinely interested in you. Those women are typically going to fall in one of two categories. One of two. Either she's going to be instantaneously sexually attracted to you, meaning that you had her at hello. Like you can get it. You know what I'm saying? Either she saw you walking up and she was seduced by your appearance, or the moment you started speaking, she was just like, ooh, I want him, right? Instantaneously sexually attracted to you, right? Most guys have never experienced that. Some guys will never experience that. And for some of the guys that have experienced that, it's few and far between that women just come at you out the gate and they own it like that, right? Now, there are some other guys that have experienced it more frequently than other guys, right? Now, the second category that women will fall in is they've pondered whether or not you are the type of guy that they might want to get with sexually, right? Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to have sex with you that night or even that week, right? But they've already pondered whether or not you're the type of guy they can kick it with like that. So what typically happens when women fall in the second category is they're uncertain, right? It's not a firm yes. It's not a firm no as to whether or not they're going to have sex with you or not. They're kind of in the middle. They're on the fence. They're uncertain. They are unsure. So when you deal with women in that category, that's where you're more likely to turn a woman off. That's where you're more likely to kill the vibe. That's where you're more likely to have her go from, you know what, I thought about fucking him, but I'm not going to do it now. Or where she was on the fence and she says, you know, after I spoke with him a while, after I've been around him, I'm even more attracted to him now than I was when I first met him. He can get it, right? So I said all that to say this. Let's go back to what he said. When he says, or she will say things like slow down. Typically, when women tell you slow down, there's two typical reasons. Exceptions aside, there are two typical reasons why a woman will tell you to slow down. One, she is not sexually attracted to you at all, and she really isn't fond of you trying to talk about sex simply because she ain't feeling you like that. That's one. The second reason is it's not so much that she's not interested in sex. She might want other things. Like she might look at you and be like, you know, I'm attracted to him, but I kind of want to see where this goes. I want to see if there's an opportunity outside of just sex for me and him to potentially date each other. And in her mind, you're moving too fast. Again, the reason why she would feel that way is because her sexual attraction for you isn't strong enough for her to say, I want it now. I'm down to do it now. Right? I need you guys to understand that. So let's go back up to the top. Somehow my belief is the woman may be viewing me as that she is not sexually interested. If a woman is not sexually interested in you, there is no need for you to deal with her. There is no need for you to continue the conversation. There is no, if you're out on a date and once you get the notion that the woman isn't sexually attracted to you or she don't view you in that way, there is no need to continue the date. Okay, I'm not saying be rude or you just abruptly in a rude fashion end the date. No. Okay, if you, like, let's say you're out and you grab a drink with a young lady and you realize, you know, halfway through your drink that she ain't feeling you like that. You can just tell her straight up, hey, look, I appreciate you coming out, but, you know, it's clear that there's no mutual interest at this juncture. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my drink and I'm going to be out. Right? The problem with some guys is you keep trying to rescue the situation. That's your problem. Okay, you keep trying to rescue it. And a lot of times you just need to let it go, right? So then it goes on to say, how do I reverse that? See, this is what I'm saying. Look at his words. How do I reverse that? Besides being, guys, if a woman is not sexually interested, gracefully bow out. Let her bake it. Go on about your business and go to the next woman. There's too many women out here to be trying to reverse what's going on with one single female, man. Right? So, okay, let me get back to the topic at hand, though. Let me plug the joint. Why sexy is a better compliment than beautiful. Now, I do use the word sexy. Do I do it all the time? No. Here's the thing about using the word sexy. When you use the word sexy, when you're talking to a woman, you're going to find out pretty quick where her head is at. Okay, here's the thing about using the word sexy to compliment a woman. A woman is going to respond to it every time. Every time you use the word sexy to compliment a woman, she's going to respond to it 100% of the time. Okay, let me explain. Let me elaborate. So if you're using the word sexy to compliment a woman, if you're dealing with a woman who is actually sexually attracted to you, she's going to respond favorably. She might say, really? You think I'm sexy? Right? Especially if she got on an outfit that she, like, let's say you meet her and then you offer a date and then you see her on a date and then you use the word sexy to compliment, that summer dress or that sundress she got on, right? Or that spaghetti strap dress, right? She might giggle a little bit and blush and look all shy. She might be like, you think so? When I picked this out, I had you in mind. I was hoping you would like it, but you think I'm sexy? Right? A woman who is sexually attracted to you typically may react like that, right? There's other ways they may respond in a favorable sense. But in my experiences, I've gotten that type of response, right? When a woman ain't really feeling you sexually, or she ain't trying to really discuss sex with you, she will either ignore you. She won't respond at all. If you use the word sexy when conversating with a woman or complimenting her, and she flat out doesn't acknowledge what you just said, chances are she probably is not sexually attracted to you. Exceptions aside, chances are she probably isn't sexually attracted to you. So when I say why sexy is a better compliment than beautiful, because when you use the word sexy in a conversation and you're referring to the young lady in front of you, it automatically changes the fucking dynamic of the conversation. Calling a woman beautiful does not change the dynamic of the conversation. Okay, let me say that shit again. Calling a woman beautiful does not change the dynamic of the conversation. Zach, what do you mean? This is what I mean by that. If you are talking to a woman who is sexually attracted to you and you call her beautiful, she's probably going to tell you thank you. If you're talking to a woman who is not sexually attracted to you and you call her beautiful, she's probably going to thank you as well. So if you're calling a woman beautiful or pretty or gorgeous or anything like that, and she is not sexually attracted to you, or she is sexually attracted to you, you're probably going to get the same type of response or very similar responses, right? Whereas when you use the word sexy and you're talking to a woman who is actually sexually attracted to you, you're going to get an entirely different response from her than you would a woman who is not sexually attracted to you. The problem with a lot of you guys is you don't know how to use the word sexy. Your timing is off. Zach, what do you mean? I'm glad you asked. Allow me to elaborate. If you meet a woman face to face and you're very vague, very indirect, very ambiguous about what it is you really want from her, like you meet her and you never really offer a date or anything like that, or even if you offer a date, if you're very generic with it, right? you don't really flirt like that, and then you exchange contact information, what a lot of you guys will do is, well, some of you guys anyway, you'll get on the phone or you'll text a woman and you'll use the word sexy over the phone, or you will use the word sexy in your text. Your timing is off. Now, again, if you're dealing with a woman who is sexually attracted to you, it won't matter. But if you're dealing with a woman who is either not sexually attracted to you, or if you're dealing with a woman who's on the fence and she hasn't really made up her mind whether or not she wants to fuck with you on a sexual tip, in most cases, it's not going to have the type of favorable outcome you desire, right? And you really shouldn't be searching for an outcome anyway. When I use the word sexy, right, my thing is this. Once I use the word sexy, I'm going to escalate. Okay, what do I mean by escalate? Number one, I'm not going to use it over the phone unless we met face to face and it's clear that we are mutually sexually attracted to each other. Then me using it over the phone or me using it in a text makes sense. It makes sense. But if you meet a woman face to face, just because she exchanges contact information with you, just because she comes across like she's down to potentially go out on a date with you, that does not mean she wants to fuck you. So a lot of times when you guys use the word sexy over the phone or in a text, it's out of place because you fail to discern or you fail to ascertain whether or not her mind is even there, whether or not she even views you in that fashion. Because a lot of you guys, when y'all meet women face to face, y'all have these generic ass conversations, man. This is why I tell you guys all the time, and I've been saying this for years now. I very rarely offer a date to women. I very rarely have offered. Let me correct my English there. I very rarely have offered a date to a woman. Because the vast majority of the time, when I've met women face to face and we see each other a second time, sexual attraction has already been mutually established. It's been mutually established. Whether I use the word sexy to compliment her right then and there, or whether I use it later, it doesn't matter because it's already been established. It changes the dynamic of the interaction. Again, if I'm using the word sexy, I'm going to escalate. Once you use the word sexy, the conversation at that point has to remain sexual. The conversation needs to be a sexually charged conversation. That's the whole point. Part of using the word sexy is to, one, let her know where your mind is at. The fact that you desire her in that fashion. But once you open Pandora's box, so to speak, you got to stay there. You got to stay the course. Okay, you can't be like, damn, girl, you sexy as hell. So how was your day today? No! Once you use the word sexy to compliment a woman, you got to stay the course and make sure the conversation is sexual at that point. And the only time it doesn't stay sexual is if the woman is showing you with her response or lack thereof that she ain't feeling it. And once you see that she ain't feeling it, you need to abort. Abort. That's a woman you need to leave alone because she ain't feeling you like that. Why sexy is a better compliment than beautiful. To put it simply, it changes the dynamic of the conversation. If a woman is feeling you sexually, she's going to reveal it to you. If she's not, she's going to reveal it to you. She's either going to reveal it to you with slow down. Sir, why are you talking about that, sir? I'm not thinking about that. Or she's going to flat out ignore you and change the subject. What she is showing you with that response or reaction is that she don't really view you sexually. So instead of you trying to convince her to view you in that fashion, or instead of you trying to reverse it, what you should do is abort and leave her alone and go to the next chick. Like the video, share the video.